I kind of didn't want to do this video because honestly, it's a touchy subject. I personally believe that Tre Mason suffers from CTE. However, he's never actually been diagnosed with a concussion. He believes that he does not suffer from this condition. His mom believes that he does, but CTE is one of those things you can only diagnose after a person has passed. Now, researchers in Boston literally just last month actually may have discovered a way to diagnose it while people are still alive, but that was just last month. So obviously, this thing is gonna be in its infancy. Either way, Tre Mason was a beastly running back, but it seems like one day something just snapped, and the Tre Mason that we all knew turned into a very different person. Who knows, maybe this was lingering there beneath the surface all this time and we just didn't know about it. Maybe Tre was just behaving immaturely, but maybe he was suffering from a brain disease called CTE that's caused by repeated trauma to the head. Of course, none of us know, so let me know what you think in the comment section and let's dive in. Tre Mason grew up in Florida and was a 3-sport star: football, basketball, track. Yeah, this dude was always an athlete, bro. Standing only 5'9", he did the 100-meter dash, the long jump, and the high jump. But his best sport that he was perhaps born to play, on that gridiron, baby. Tre's senior year in high school, he rushed for over 1,600 yards. With 24 TDs. Coming out of high school, Tre was a 4-star athlete. He was the number 14 ranked running back in his class. Tre considered schools like Ole Miss, West Virginia, but ultimately decided to go with all. In his very first college football game, Tre returned a 97-yard kick return for a touchdown. Gave the Auburn fans flashes of what he can bring to the table. But with that being said, he would only get 28 carries his freshman year, because back then in 2011, Michael Dyer was the lead back. On those 28 carries, Tre managed to gain 161 yards. That's a 5.8 yards per carry average. So then the following season, Michael Dyer was suspended, ended up transferring, and Tre's carries went from 28 to 171. Now, when his carries went up, his yards per carry average, like, not only did he maintain the 5.8, but he slightly increased it to a 5.9. Same yards per carry average, way more carries, way more yards. Tre went over 1,000 yards for the first time in his college career as a sophomore. As a junior in 2013, he really made his mark. 1,800 plus rushing yards, along with 23 touchdowns, which is eerily similar to his high school stats. In the SEC championship game, he dominated, bro, with 304 yards. He destroyed the previous record, which was 201. He had 4 touchdowns and showed he was a workhorse with 46 carries, both of which were SEC championship records as well. After that, he was named as one of the 6 Heisman finalists, and along with some other cats from Auburn like Nick Marshall, yeah, it's coming, Tre was able to help Auburn to a national championship. So Auburn leaned heavy on him in that game, right? So with about a minute left on the clock, man, 4th quarter, handoff up the middle, Tre make about 10 yards untouched, and bam, smashes dude and going for the touchdown, bro. This gave Auburn a 31-27 lead in the national championship, dog. That's how my boy Tre could have went out. But less than a minute to go, a young Jameis Winston just wasn't having it, bro. Drove all the way down the field and threw a touchdown in the end zone to Kelvin Benjamin, take the lead, national championship. So instead of Tre's college career ending like this,
Mason steps outside right, breaks the daylight. Still going, end zone, touchdown Auburn. Not quite yet out of miracles.
It ended like this. Yo, Tre rushed for 195 yards in that game and scored 1 touchdown. His 1,816 yards broke Bo Jackson's record. Yeah, Bo goddamn Jackson's record, which had been set way back in 1985. And at that time, only 2 backs in the history of the SEC had rushed for more yards. That was Darren McFadden and Herschel Walker. There have been more backs that come along and, you know, top this mark at this point, namely Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette. But at the time, McFadden and Herschel Walker were the only 2 who had a better season. After his junior season, Tre declared for the draft, and he was a pretty promising prospect. He was projected as a 2nd-round talent and ended up going in the 3rd round to the Rams. Now, right here is a pretty good time to just kind of stop and just talk about Tre's upbringing just a little bit. Maybe we could have hit this in the beginning, but Trey's dad is a member of the hip-hop group De La Soul. Some of y'all younger cats may not have heard him, but mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me, mirror, what is wrong? Just look it up, you'll see. So his pops was pretty damn famous, and his pops was in his life. Also, his mom was in his life, so he had both parents come from a pretty stable background. So what would happen next, it just was unexpected. Alright, so in Trey's first year in the league, he had a decent season, man. 765 yards, scored 4 touchdowns. He did fumble twice, though. Now, the following year, the Rams drafted Todd Gurley. And yo, this is where all the issues seem to start. So Trey's carries got cut in half, and he says he would always get promises from the coaching staff that he's going to touch the ball this much, or you know what I'm saying? But when the games came around, never would happen. He found himself on the sideline for majority of the game. So he went from being the feature back to literally having his touches cut in half. You feel me? That sucks. Maybe it was due to the fact that he was disgruntled or whatever the case may be. But not only did he have his carries cut, but his yards per carry dropped dramatically. His yards per carry were 4.3 his rookie year. This second year, they dropped to a 2.8. So not only did he have his carries cut, but when he was getting these carries, he was not nearly as effective. And it's a whole bunch of reasons you could throw out for that. You know, rhythm. Maybe he was just trying to always make a big play because he knew he wasn't going to get that many touches. Who knows? But he's not the first running back or player to be put in this position. This happens every single day. And he just wasn't able to handle it very well. Also, despite getting way less carries, he actually had 1 additional fumble. So he had more fumbles, but only by 1. But it still just, you feel me? You get half the carries and you go from 2 fumbles to 3. Again, rhythm being warm, you could probably write that off too, but it still looks really bad on the stat sheet. So after that season, Trey cut all communication with the Rams. Jeff Fisher stated, "I tried numerous times to reach him. He's made a decision not to communicate with us, not talking to his teammates. Right now, we're more concerned about his well-being than we are about his football career." So, okay, now things are starting to spiral a little bit. So that summer, Trey had multiple run-ins with the law. Okay, cool. Let's go through them. March 2006, Trey was pulled over for driving 75 in the 35. Got pulled over by the cop, refused to exit his vehicle. He got tased. Okay. That was in March. Fast forward a couple months, July. Doing wheelies and driving recklessly on an ATV. Cops pull up. This dude run from the police on the ATV, bro. Went straight back to his mom's house. They just followed him. And at this point, you're like, you tripping, bro. You just blowing it. But his mom says something. She said that her son was 22 in a 10-year-old's mindset due to concussion. She said Trey is not himself at all. And this is his mom. So she obviously has known him longer than like everyone. She says that he was unrecognizable by his action. We're going to talk more about that in a second. Hang on. So the cops were called to his house 5 times in 4 months. He's at the point now where he's scaring his mom. She said he was making irrational statements. The police report said that when Trey saw the cops, he threatened to call the White House because all the cops was working for Al-Qaeda. He says police were the ones that taught Al-Qaeda how to fly planes. Now, he probably watched a documentary or something, and he really wasn't in his right mind state, and you just start blurting this out. Like, even if that was true, you think it was these dudes that pulled up to your house, though? I mean, what's the odds of that? Like, so during this time, Trey was completely AWOL from the ring. And a ton of people, including his mom, like we talked about, were feeling like Trey was suffering from CTE, which is a brain disease caused by repeated shots to the head. If we do look at the symptoms though, the behavior fits. Like, check this out. Difficulty thinking or cognitive impairment, impulsive behavior, depression or apathy, not giving a short-term memory loss, difficulty planning or carrying out tasks, emotional instability, substance abuse. At least one of those times he got pulled over, he did have marijuana in the car, suicidal thoughts or behavior. Trey ran from the police on a 4-wheeler. However, I looked it up and Trey has never been diagnosed with a concussion. But hear me out, right? Trey played running back in the SEC and the NFL, not to mention however many years he was playing running back before that. He's had concussions, okay? Like, I don't care what you say. He's definitely had concussions. We all know a ton of them go undiagnosed. And like I said in the beginning, man, the problem with CTE is you really can't diagnose it until after a person's dead, unless this new discovery by this team in Boston goes really, really fast. Until that thing goes ahead and develops. Right now, that's still what you're looking at. Now again, Trey's mom said that he had changed dramatically. And she said something that make a lot of sense. She said there's no way he could have gotten where he is today. He grew up, he went to college, you feel me? He had no major issues, nothing that I could find in college. He was fine. He went through, he beasted out. He went through the whole draft process, her being interviewed by teams and through this whole thing. Got into the NFL, everything was cool, and one day things just snapped. But the thing that does complicate it is that it didn't seem to start, you know what I'm saying, from what I could find here. It could have started before this, but it seemed to be triggered, honestly, when the Rams drafted Todd Gurley. And that's what makes the whole thing like, is it CTE or is he just really, really childish and immature? I don't know, bro. It could be either one. Anyway, we got more stuff. Come on. Okay. So here's another crazy thing I found, right? All of this took place in 2016. Actually, at the beginning of the year in 2016. Now, what happened at the end of 2015? In December, the movie Concussion came out. So, as a parent or a loved one or anybody, it would be pretty easy to come to this conclusion right after you watch this movie. It could really make you look at the situation that you probably completely wouldn't have considered before. That doesn't mean it's not true though. Like, it could completely be true. If so, it is a really crazy coincidence that, or maybe he saw the movie in some stuff. I don't know, man, but it's pretty crazy that the movie dropped in December of 2015, and then by March, he was running from the cops. You feel me? Alright, man, Trey doesn't believe he's ever had a concussion. He say, I ain't never had a concussion, I'm cool. He maintains that he's fine. And he actually did an interview earlier this year to help prove that, yo, I'm straight, man. Team, sign me up. But I read the whole interview and he is incredibly evasive about all the crazy stuff that went on. Like, why were you running from the police, bro? Why did the cops have to come to your house 5 times in 4 months, bro? He never really gives a straight answer. He's very evasive. Hey, here's an example. He'll say stuff like, I was just riding my ATV like I always did. He doesn't remember the Al-Qaeda statement. He says, like, who's writing this? Where are you getting this from? That didn't happen. Maybe it didn't, but it was reported, and it's pretty specific and kind of out of the blue. I'm not going to say that people wouldn't make stuff up, because people do make stuff up. I don't think they made that up, though. Of course, I don't know, but I just don't think they did. And then he was saying stuff like the Rams made up stories, and if they really cared about him, they would have came and saw him. But I'm saying in the same interview, he doesn't deny cutting communication with them, says he thinks it's ridiculous for people to even have to know about his whereabouts when he knew everybody was looking for him and trying to figure out where he was, because the dude that was interviewing him was like, yo, man, a simple, post to let people know you was cool, and he just thought that was ridiculous. Like, Trey, I'll let people know where I'm at. Like, I mean, you ain't gotta let them know exactly where you at. Let them know you're alive, bro. I don't know. I just felt like he was, like, extremely unreasonable. Like, I'm all for players. Like, if you watch I'm all for the players. But, like, sometimes, clearly Trey was in the wrong here. But it may not be his fault if he's suffering from CTE. If he's not, then I don't know what he's doing. Now, here's the crazy thing. During the interview, we find out that Trey is in phenomenal physical condition, works out every single day. Sometimes works out with ex-Auburn teammates and NFL players, like, just getting it in. And a lot of them dudes that worked out with him is like, yo, he could step on the field right now and resume his career. But the thing that's probably keeping him out of the league at this point is he keeps throwing shots at the Rams, calling them a clown show. And he just doesn't seem to be taking really any responsibility for what he did. You know what I'm saying? He like blaming the whole thing on the Rams, and who knows what the hell happened behind doors. But at the end of the day, you gotta at least accept your part in this, bro. And the Rams ain't had nothing to do with you getting pulled over by the cops constantly. Now check this out. Several times during the interview that I'm referencing, the guy would like set up a meeting with Trey, like meet at a restaurant or whatever like that. Set up a time, place, boom. Trey wouldn't show up. Finally, he'll respond like the next day and be like, oh, I had to do something. Like, what? What you mean, God? Like, oh, bruh. So that's the same type of behavior that he was showing when he left out of the league. And so that's what happened. Like, that's why he can't get back in. I hope Trey gets the help he needs, bro, and get back straight. This man is 24 years old, bro. Maybe he's suffering from CTE. Maybe he just had some type of breakdown. Maybe he's just extremely immature. I don't know. But, you know, sending prayers out, bro. I'm hoping he can shake back, bro. Just shake back.
Yeah, you'll never know